Welcome to the German premiere of Vengeance is Mine, All Others Pay Cash by Indonesian director Edwin, who's joining us today for an interview.
Hello.
The film is based on a book by Eka Kurniawan, and I was wondering, how did you encounter this book and what made you decide to make a film out of it?
Yeah, the very beginning was immediately interested just by looking at the title of the book. It has it's different translation into the English title that you have now, that we have now, but it has the same quality of that kind of phrase or words that invites you a strong emotion and energy, yet it also feels poetic. It feels like coming from the writing at the back of a trucks that I think I found a lot in Indonesia and maybe in some some country as well. In India, they have also this culture which always inviting you to think when you read the phrase. And then when I read the book, it's very fast turner, page turner. It's very visual. It feels so entertaining. It's a lot of tribute to 80s, 90s pop culture, inspired by Hong Kong martial arts movies, American B movies, and also a lot of horror Indonesian influenced in the book. But also, it really doesn't, strangely, it's not feeling like a nostalgic. Although there's a lot of retro reverence, but it feels so contemporary. It feels now. So that's interesting for me.
You've talked about the references in the book, but there are also many different elements in the film: romance, martial arts, road movie. What were the films that you were going back to as a reference in making the film?
I tried not to be really, revisiting old movies. But I really hope that the whole crew and cast who actually happen to be at the same generation as mine, so we are all have this particular memories of that periods, especially their products of culture like comic books, movies, and from that memories we work on to build the work of this film. So we don't really have a particular title that we drew from for this film, but we drew the whole image of the film from our memories that inspired and mixed with the nowadays realities in order to create the work of this film.
What is different from the classic B movies, so to say, is the feminist term in this film with Iteung, who is played by Ladia Cheryl. I was wondering, how did you conceive this character, and how does this change the perspective of the narrative?
I think that's already there in the book. The idea of this strong character, Iteung, who really inspired all of us. It is a little bit inspired by the old movies, but it gives a new perspective on how strong characters behaves in nowadays situation, and I think it's based on our our hopes and our memories and our current situation on how we really want to see strong character in a movie now. And we don't or we don't also see this very strong female character as a black and white character. I mean, yes, we do love to see strong characters. I mean, strong female characters, but sometimes we see it's too heroic or too black and white, which is become too comical, and we don't really relate in nowadays situation. What we have with Iteung, it's different. It feels real. It feels complex, and it's really nice and important to see how strong female characters or any characters in any film looks human, looks complex, strong and human. It's important, I think.
When it comes to the crew in this film, you worked with some people you haven't worked with before. The sound designer and editor of Apichat Pongwirasethakul's films, the cinematographer of a number of Kiyoshi Kurosawa films. How did these collaborations come about?
Since I knew that this film was inspired by a lot of pop culture in that period, so I'm quite intrigued how different culture see this the popular culture. I mean, I believe this culture is also known or also popular in other countries, like especially in Southeast Asia and Asia in general. So I was hoping that there's a lot of interpretation and creative inputs coming from different point of views. And then I met Akiko Azizawa, the cinematographer. She worked in a Japanese film that were shot in Indonesia, I guess in 2017 or 18, I forgot. And one of my producer, Maiske Taurisia, she worked with her for that film in Indonesia, in Aceh. So we were in being introduced, and we have same interest in cinema, and so we decided maybe one time we should work together. And the next year we got opportunity to make a short film in Japan. We did the short film, and then it was the same time when I wrote the script for this film, The Vengeance Is Mine. So I sent the script to her, and she immediately connect and relate to the script. At the same time, I also I've been friends with Thai filmmakers, with Lee, the editor, and he also introduced me to other filmmakers from Thailand, and so yeah, it's quite organic how we actually met and worked for this film. Thailand and Indonesia, then we have a lot of difference, but we have similarity also. So it's really nice to see the how the collaboration through these different cultures, but connected and related to the very same spirit of the popular culture that are inspired us to make the film.
Having the German premiere in Hamburg for this film is quite fitting, because it's also a co-production with Hamburg, with Fatih Akin's Bombero International. How did this collaboration come into place?
You know, we produced the film with the international co-production scheme. That's allow us to meet, have a partner from Europe. So we send the film to our partner in, and they introduced us to Bombero, to Fatih in company, and he shows interest in in this movie, and yeah, we find a way to co-produce the film. So part of the film, the post-production part, has contribution from Hamburg, filmmakers. The music is a collaboration between Indonesian music director and Hamburg musician, and we also did the final mix in Hamburg studio with Stefan Korken.
Edwin, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, for presenting the film for a Hamburg audience. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.